My topic is abstinence only sexual education is trash and needs to be replaced with a comprehensive sexual education. Within today's America, children and teens are being denied their right to a proper and truthful education. This sexual education within America has been chained down to being an abstinence only program. Abstinence only education contains a lack of and most times false information. This lack of information leaves these minors in difficult situations throughout the rest of their life. Abstinence only education is outdated, biased, and needs to be replaced with a comprehensive sexual education program within America. An abstinence only sexual education is outdated for the 21st century. People are regularly having sexual intercourse before marriage. According to the CDC, 55% of teens have had sexual intercourse by the age of 18. Abstinence only education is teaching children that they should not have sexual relations until marriage. The main points within these programs are telling children that is the only morally correct option. They use negative aspects of sexual acts to scare children into believing anything before marriage is wrong. This is not always the case. They teach that marriage is a safe haven for sexual relations to occur, but that's not always true. STIs, rape, unplanned pregnancies, and abuse all occur within marital relationships as well as outside. This education tells children that contraceptives don't work and only abstaining from sex is the only thing that works. Therefore, if and when these children begin having sexual relations, they don't even use contraception due to the belief that they don't work in general. Why use something if they don't work in the first place? Obviously, teens are having sex in America. Now, this country needs to provide these teenagers with information and tools provided for safer sex. Each state laws on sexual health are different on how they may be taught. Out of 50 states, only 24 of them require sexual education to be taught in general. Under half the country isn't required to be taught anything in regards to their sexual health. 37 states require that abstinence needs to be discussed, and 26 of those abstinence needs to be highly stressed. Under half of the country isn't even required to discuss their sexual education, and over half of the country is only taught how to not have sex, because that makes sense. Only 18 states require that curriculum regarding contraception be taught. Therefore, 64% of the population is not taught the usefulness of contraception. This creates a higher likelihood for STIs and unplanned pregnancies. Out of 50 states in America, only 13 states are required for the education taught to be medically accurate. Take a moment to let that sink in. In 37 states, they say it's okay for you to be lied to within your education. Imagine if this was the case for any other subject. It would not be tolerated. This isn't a topic you're going to need to know for the ACTs, but this information is going to go with you throughout your life. The whole point of learning something is to learn the facts on the subject. Since 1982, the American government has funded $2 billion to abstinence-only education. These programs are required to withhold any information on contraception and condoms. The only way they are allowed to talk about these topics are to talk about the failures of them. With statistics on how this education doesn't work, you would think the government would redirect these funds to find a program that actually is effective. Mississippi is a state that is mandated by law that all sexual health programs must be abstinence only. Within this law, it is required that boys and girls be separated, there be no physical demonstrations, and first, parents must opt these children into these programs first. Within 2018, the CDC announced that Mississippi was number 1 in the country for gonorrhea and 3rd in the country for chlamydia and syphilis. Mississippi is also leading at 3rd in the country for teenage pregnancy rates. In 2016, 3,378 girls under the age of 20 had given birth to a child. 54% of high school students in Mississippi reported they were having sex and they weren't given the proper information or tools needed for this part of their life. These statistics are due to the lack of education and resources available. There is only one Planned Parenthood left within Mississippi. This makes it hard for anyone to utilize the amazing services and educational programs Planned Parenthood offers. With Planned Parenthood being available to a very limited population, many people must utilize other options. In Mississippi, you must be 17 to purchase Plan B. This makes it very difficult for those under the age to find resources to get them out of these sticky situations. Uh, oops. Here are a couple lesson plans that come from abstinence only curriculum. Who remembers in their health class, one day they gave you a piece of gum, and later on in that class they told everyone to switch gum? Who would want your gum? No one. That piece of gum is you. After you've had sex, you're not worth as much as you were before. No one's going to want you once you have sex. This shames people into saying that after you have sex, you're not worth anything compared to if you were to keep yourself pure. Another lesson plan is used to comparing girls to a crock pot and boys to a microwave. Girls heat up slow, whereas boys heat up quickly. It is the girl's responsibility to make sure the boys don't heat up too quickly. Something that is no one's responsibility except one's own. This is not only teaching boys that it's okay for them to not fight their urges and not control themselves, but it's teaching girls that it's their responsibility for other people's actions. Cover up. Don't be too flirtatious. Don't give them any reason to want anything from you. One last lesson plan is the shredded heart plan. Students are told to write their hopes, dreams, and goals onto a paper heart. The teacher will rip the paper up and tell them once they have had sex, all their goals go out the door. This simply is not true. If students were taught how to have safer sex in the first place, they wouldn't have to worry as much about these unexpected incidents. Even if pregnancy was to occur, it's not the end of the world. There are many programs out there to help younger generations with children. I have 2 cousins myself who have had a child at 15. One is now 19. She went off to Job Corps. She got her GED. She now has a well-paying, stable job and has just recently bought her first home. The other one is 16. She's still going to high school full-time and taking care of her child at the same time. I applaud them both. It's a difficult task, but it won't ruin your life like the illusion these programs like to show. These lesson plans reinforce all the wrong things: inequality, gender roles, homophobia, and tell sexual assault survivors it was their fault in some way. Abstinence-only education is outdated and needs to be replaced by a comprehensive sexual education. Abstinence-only education takes the people's right to a proper education by providing wrong and withholding information. This lack of information provides a difficult start for young people. Times have changed, and sex before marriage is a natural thing. It's time we make comprehensive sexual education a natural thing too.